But your scientists were so preoccupied with whether or not they could that they didn't stop to think if they should.
Hey everybody, today as you can see we are not using a camera. That's because of an incident that happened a little while ago where I was really drunk trying to set up a video, and long story short, the camera got destroyed in a little drunken accident. And then we filmed a review for Upgrade where I explained all of this, and unfortunately we no longer have power because we're broke. So now we're filming this on my laptop with the microphone. Uploads will be more frequent within the next couple weeks. However, sadly we won't probably have a camera for a good while. Because we don't even have power. We're very poor. The camera was destroyed. Just a update on that one. So anyways, today we saw, not today, a good while back, we haven't had time to film reviews because it's a ghetto setup. Recently we saw Jurassic World. So Aidan, what's the plot of Jurassic World 2, the really boring dinosaur movie?
The first part of Jurassic World 2 is about the island. For some reason they built Jurassic World on a volcano. The volcano's erupting and all the dinosaurs are gonna go extinct. So some rich guy hires Chris Pratt and Ron Howard's daughter.
Ron Howard's daughter, Chris Pratt, just kind of gets linked in, probably for free, for pussy.
Whatever,
Wanted
anyway.
to get some pussy.
They go to the park to rescue some dinosaurs with some military people, and the military people want to sell the dinosaurs. And then they go to a mansion which is owned by the old guy and his granddaughter, who's actually a clone of his daughter, but that really literally does not matter. And the military people, not Chris Pratt, but the military people sell the dinosaurs as weapons and make a super dinosaur, just like the super dinosaur in the first movie, except this one's a raptor that is really smart, and then they run away from it in the mansion. So Connor, what'd you think of Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom?
Fuck if I remember. Before Jurassic World 2 came out, I pretty much said I don't want to see that movie. The trailers came out and I said, okay, I definitely don't want to see that movie. And about 5 minutes into this movie, I decided I didn't want to see this movie. I watched like the first half of this movie and I honestly thought it was unwatchably boring and stupid. I genuinely don't care about this stupid ass franchise because I think it's fucking gay. It's dumb because I don't give a shit that much about dinosaurs in all seriousness, at least when it comes to dinosaurs eat people. Like, how many times can we see that? I mean, even at least superhero movies are like, what is the supervillain's new superpower, you know? But dinosaurs chasing people around I don't care about and eating them is boring. Ron Howard's daughter has virtually no charisma, and I don't really care for her as a character. I don't have anything against her. She's not annoying. That's part of the problem, is that I'm neither annoyed nor excited by anything Ron Howard's daughter does. Chris Pratt is just like the most generic role Chris Pratt could possibly play. Like, Chris Pratt's charisma and standard role you would expect Chris Pratt to be in post Guardians of the Galaxy, or even pre with like Parks and Rec and stuff, just like the most watered down, boring ass exposition heavy version. So there's nothing to watch here because the rest is just the dinosaurs, and the dinosaurs half the time are just running and dying. Blue the dinosaur is pretty unexciting. When she shows up, it's literally just like, oh, it's a dinosaur. You know, it's not like fucking R2 or anything. So the fucking franchise in and of itself, I didn't even want to see this movie. So I only watched like the first 3/4 of this movie and then I fell asleep, honestly, like right when it started getting into the Monster House type bullshit. But from what I remember before I went to sleep, it was really fucking boring. They go to the island and they basically run around from exploding bullshit. Dinosaurs are dying and shit, and it never feels like they're in danger. They just kind of scream and run. And I always thought it was kind of bizarre that the entire movie's like, we gotta save the fucking dinosaurs. It's like, for what purpose, you know? They were cloned, they kill everybody. It's like,
really bizarre.
it's bizarre.
was that part where Ron Howard's daughter is like, we have to save the dinosaurs, then she locks the dinosaur in the cage.
Yeah,
He tries to eat her, and
that's
it
what I'm
fucking
saying.
burns to death in the lava.
That's what I'm saying. It's like she doesn't care about the dinosaurs once she's trying to survive from them, but she acts all high and mighty about it. Here's what I would do: let the dinosaurs live or die as they are. Collect samples, because they probably have samples of all the DNA since they cloned the dinosaurs, and then just clone some more dinosaurs and put them in a fucking zoo or something. But instead of having like 1,000 of them, just whip up like 2 at a time or 1 at a time. Fuck it. You don't have to have them reproducing. Literally, when one dies, just whip up another one. There, you're preserving the species. Extinction is no longer a thing in this universe. Just fucking keep cloning away. Because even like humans apparently can have exact clones. So I don't see what the point of going to the island is and taking these giant horrible monsters. Find a place where they're safe or like some sort of conservation. Fuck it. Reclone a bunch of them and toss them on a different island. Everyone's happy, you know? Clone them, toss them on the island while they're babies. Natural selection takes its place. It's like, okay, maybe you fucking chip them and you're like, well, the fucking velociraptors went extinct again because they're not actually in an environment they're made for. So like most wild animals, they'd go extinct pretty fast. Just fucking extinct, not instinct. Extinct pretty fast. Just make some more. That would save the fucking plot. And also, when they do get to the fucking haunted house, how is it... I don't get that. You know what I'm saying? Like...
Anyway.
Crackhead sounds fucking close by.
He's not gonna bust in over
Yeah,
here.
he fucking will. Have you seen the
Over
fucking
in here?
last crackhead? Yeah, the last crackhead that busted in here.
Yeah, but we're asleep. We're sitting in the living room right now. He's not gonna dare.
Okay, what if he has a
I'm gonna
fucking knife?
shoot him with the gun that I have.
You don't have a gun.
He doesn't know that.
I don't want a fucking crackhead busting into this
I'm
black
not
ass
gonna
house. He
bust
can't
it.
tell. He'll peek on through with his fucking knife and blade us. Rape our fucking corpses.
Anyway. So, you wanna...
Anyway, I don't like this movie. It sucks balls. Aiden, what did you think of Jurassic World?
Jurassic World: The Fallen Kingdom is the best movie ever made.
Fuck off with the dumbass meme.
It's not a meme, dude.
It's so fucking
The first
bad.
half of the
Are
movie...
you fucking kidding
The first
me?
half of the movie is incredibly
Objectively
fucking boring.
speaking, it's horrible.
The first half of the movie is boring and awful.
It's the greatest movie ever made. The first half of the movie is boring and awful. Okay, it makes total fucking sense. It's a horrible
It's the
movie.
greatest half of a movie ever made. The first half is boring and awful.
Oh my god, we
But
hear
the
this
second
40 times a fucking day, dude.
The second half, where it becomes a haunted house movie, is so hilariously awkward that it is absolutely worth seeing. It is classic B movie. They're running away from the super dinosaur. The super dinosaur, it's controlled by a gun. You have to shoot your target, but instead of just shooting them with bullets, you shoot them with sound waves, and then a dinosaur comes and kills them. It's like the most...
Sounds just retarded.
It's the most retarded thing I've ever seen. And someone actually put this to film.
And
it's
$100
brilliant.
million movie.
It's fucking brilliant. The little girl hides under her bed sheets, and the dinosaur creeps up and reaches its finger out to touch her on the head. And it's so awkward.
What, are the dinosaurs friends with her because she's a clone or something?
No, the evil raptor dinosaur, it like... It's so weird because in some
Plus,
scenes...
why was the raptor cloned with a fucking evil... Because the mega dinosaur was super smart, or what?
Yeah, the mega dinosaur is smart, but the raptor's
But it
even
was
smarter.
underwater animal.
And the raptor, it can open windows. It like breaks into a room through the window, and it like reaches out its finger like fucking Freddy Krueger. And it's so awkward to watch. It's the most insanely awful movie I've seen since Attack of the Clones.
Since Attack of the Clones.
Yeah, it's literally insane. The script doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I get it. I saw the first half of the movie.
No,
before
the
I
first half
decided
of the
I was
movie
gonna
makes
catch
sense.
some
The
Z's.
first
No,
half
it
of the
fucking
movie is
doesn't.
fucking boring.
Chris Pratt just does nothing with any motivation. The chick doesn't do anything except run.
The first half of the movie is not insane.
The whole
first
movie
half
sucks.
of the movie is
The
boring
whole
as
movie
shit.
sucks.
The
Yeah,
second
I know.
half, the second half
Bored
is
me to
fucking
fucking
ballistic.
sleep, dude.
The second half is insane.
This movie's so boring it'll bore you to sleep. If you want to sit through an hour and a half to watch a retarded 30 minutes.
It's
a movie that's so retarded for the last 30 minutes that it's apparently good.
A super dinosaur.
They
make a super dinosaur.
I watched at least an hour and a half of this crappy ass movie. I know
super stealth dinosaur, and then the little girl's a clone for no reason. They're like, the evil guy is like, "You're a clone," and the little girl's like, "Oh, that sucks," and then it's never brought up again. And like, Blue comes out of nowhere and like knocks the evil raptor into the. It falls onto the Triceratops' horn and dies. It's like, it might be the worst script ever written, and it's so brilliant. It's so brilliantly awful that it's honestly hilarious. And
you just gotta sit there an hour of the most painfully boring and horrible movie you'll ever see.
You go to the counter and you're like, I want to see Jurassic.
Dude, I wonder where you got that one from.
You say, I want to see Jurassic World, and they're like, do you want to see the 420? And then you're like, no, I want to see the 350. And then you go in.
So 30 minutes, you skip the first 30 minutes, then you're still stuck with an hour of Chris Pratt sitting around being like, we have to save the dinosaur, then like running from like fiery explosions. Because how the fuck is that possible? How is Chris Pratt able to outrun a fucking volcano on foot while dinosaurs are trying to trample his ass?
Lava's pretty fucking
Why
slow.
were there dinosaurs still trying to kill other dinosaurs when you think natural instinct would be like, okay, let's go.
Yeah. I don't
This
know.
lava
The
was
first
exploding out.
The first half is super fucking boring. The second half is goddamn goldmine hilarious. Awkward B-movie schlock. So Connor, would you recommend Jurassic World to The Fallen Kingdom?
I literally would not recommend this movie at all. I think this movie was horrible. I think it was boring. It literally bored me to sleep. And I'm still confident making this review because I saw half the movie and I can tell you, it doesn't matter if the last half of the movie was the fucking best movie ever. If it was somehow the fucking greatest movie ever, I would still not watch it. You know why? Because the first half of the movie was so fucking horribly boring garbage. Exactly what you think. When you watch the trailer and you think, wow, this movie looks retarded and boring, guess what? You aren't wrong. This movie's retarded. This movie's boring. This movie sucks ass. Nobody, even Chris Pratt has no charisma in a movie. Chris Pratt's usually got quite a bit of charisma. Chris Pratt's usually pretty fun to watch. Not in this movie. Nobody's fun to watch. This whole movie fucking blows, and I don't care about dinosaurs because dinosaurs are fucking gay. So no, I would not recommend this movie. Aiden, would you recommend this movie?
I would recommend this movie fully. This movie, the first half, it's kind of boring.
Honestly, if someone held me at gunpoint, if someone handed me a gun and said you have a choice between blowing your brains out or watching Jurassic World for the next 365 days straight, I would honestly go ahead and I'd just take the gun and kill myself because I would not want to.
Once you get past the first part,
this movie sucks.
The second part is the greatest movie that's ever been.
Oh my god, Chris Pratt, we just got off the island. He's like, here's a John Deere hat, brought to you by John Deere. And she's like, what about this Pepsi Cola? You know, like, I don't know.
There wasn't even any product placement.
Are you fucking me? When she has the John Deere hat on, she escapes from the island and somehow she's like, I need to go in disguise, and just finds like a fucking John Deere hat and wears it in frame for like 4 fucking scenes. How do you not remember this? She literally tosses on a John fucking Deere hat. You can look it up. She wears a John Deere hat right when she escapes the island. Somehow she goes in disguise with the John Deere hat that she literally pulled out of her asshole. She wears a John Deere hat. I was like, what the hell? That is the most corny ass shit.
The second half of
this whole movie's garbage.
The second half of the movie is not.
It was literally made. This movie was literally made to put a couple pennies in Steven Schmeckelberg's pockets, dude.
Yeah.
This movie's horrible.
And also the third movie is gonna be so atrociously bad. I'm so excited to see it.
I just wish the third movie would never happen because I'm not watching it. You're going to that movie theater alone.
You don't want to see the dinosaurs in Manhattan?
I really do not. I really have no interest in watching another Jurassic Park or Jurassic World. I've never seen the first Jurassic Park.
T-Rex is in Texas.
I've only seen the third Jurassic Park, and I've seen the 2 Jurassic World movies now. Okay, get your fucking head off my arm. here's what I have to say: is I don't plan on ever watching the first Jurassic Park, never plan on watching the second one, and never plan on watching the inevitable third Jurassic World. I never want to see one of these movies again because they're fucking stupid. They're boring. I don't like the concept. I think it's gay. I think it's boring. It sucks, and I fucking hate it.
Please watch Jurassic World 2. I really want to see what happens in
Go
the third
kill
one.
yourself.
I'm just kidding. It's already made its money back.
Really?
Yeah. It made 700.
Well, I'm not watching it. It doesn't matter. You can watch whatever you want.
Yeah,
I'm
you're coming
refuse.
to it, boy.
I refuse.
coming.
Fucking refuse.
You have no option.
Fucking refuse. Anyways, have you seen the Brady Bunch movie before? Just fucking yeah. Let's go. Next review.
I don't think I have.
Apparently, Aiden's never seen the Brady Bunch movies. Something we just discussed after I ended as a meme. So I'll talk about what I remember from the Brady Bunch movies. The Brady Bunch movies are a series of movies where they're satirical comedies that take place in the 90s, but the idea is that the Brady Bunch are pulled from the 60s. So the Brady Bunch themselves, it doesn't really have the full concept of the Brady Bunch series. You see, in the Brady Bunch series, it's a family. 3 girls and their mother, and the 3 boys and their father, and their housekeeper Alice. But in the 90s Brady Bunch movie, it's still the 60s family, but instead of them being in the 60s, they're growing up in the 90s. So it's like if the original Brady Bunch were reacting to the 90s culture. And it's just like they have a weird and pervy neighbor who wants to have sex with the dad the whole time. I'm pretty sure she also wants to have sex with Greg, who's the older brother of the Brady Bunch. And it's just kind of a bizarre movie because the idea is that you put the Brady Bunch in the 90s and they're like, get real, get with modern times. But it's really weird watching now because that was 20 years ago when the movie came out.
There was 2 sequels, bro.
There was a sequel, and then apparently there was a second sequel. I watched
There was
at least
a very
2 of
Brady
them.
sequel, and then there was a television film called The Brady Bunch in the White House.
See, I don't know if that one is actually still a sequel to this movie.
It is, apparently.
And it still is like the same satirical idea where it's like the 90s Brady Bunch. I don't know who came up with this idea, but it's kind of a fucking weird movie, and it definitely really had very little to do with the Brady Bunch aside from the name. It felt like something that like somebody came up with the idea, said we're gonna make a parody of the Brady Bunch, but like what if it was like the Brady Bunch in the 90s? And then they were gonna make it a parody, but then they found out they could just get the Brady Bunch license for not all that expensive. That's what my assumption is, because for some reason this movie just kind of came out. It wasn't all that expensive, and I remember it being really fucking bizarre. I don't know if I ever saw the Brady Bunch at that point. Now I have seen the Brady Bunch, or I guess I've seen it a couple times as a kid in syndication, definitely. Because when I watched this movie, I was probably like 15, so I'm doing this all based off memory. But the interesting thing I think about the Brady Bunch movie is that it's just very different from the show. It's not an adaptation of the show. The Leave It to Beaver movie was an adaptation of Leave It to Beaver with modern times. Beaver loses his Game Boy instead of his bike, for example. It's a modern times as of the 90s. But when they did this modern adaptation in the 90s, instead of it being a modern adaptation of Leave It to Beaver, you know, essentially just bringing the original stories into a more 90s setting, what they did was they took the original characters from the 60s and didn't update them all and tossed them in the 90s setting and showed how they would react. And it was a weird fucking movie. And I didn't really enjoy that movie, but maybe I would enjoy it more now, or maybe I'd enjoy it less. I don't really know. It's been about 5 years since I've seen it, so I'm no expert on it, but I remember the concept of it.
I briefly read
remember
the
not liking
Wikipedia
it.
page.
I thought it was horrible at the time.
I briefly read the Wikipedia page, and it sounds like something I would not like. I would not recommend the Brady Bunch movie, despite the fact that I have not and probably will not ever see it.
I think it would have been funnier in the 90s, but I can't recommend it in 2018. Literally almost 20 years after that movie came out. And granted, that movie is now about 2/3 as old as, well, it's about as old as the Brady Bunch would be
When it came out.
when it came out, or you know, a little bit less, give or take like a decade, or not give or take, but somewhere between like a decade difference in there probably, but it's pretty damn close to as old as the Brady Bunch show as of that time period. So the interesting thing to see, because that came out like late 60s, ended in the early 70s, I believe.
The Brady Bunch movie was 1995, so it's over 20 years old.
So it's 23.
And it's an adaptation of The Brady Bunch, which finished in 1974. So it would have been 21 years.
Okay.
So it's right about the same
So
time.
it's right about the same age if you count the start of the Brady Bunch, or if you count the end, it's actually been more time has passed since that
Started
movie
in
came out than the
69,
end.
So it was like 26 to 21 years depending on when it came out.
So basically, the movie is about equally as relevant. So now I want to see that 60s Brady Bunch brought to the modern time. There you go. Movie concept, Hollywood. There you are. Anyway. Yeah, that's kind of weird, actually, when you think about it. Although the 90s are, I guess, more similar to modern time than the simple 60s, you know? LSD, rock and roll. Sitcoms.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting.